Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Explainer. Okay, get ready because today we are embarking on what is basically the ultimate guide to completely transforming your farm's economics. And we're going to do it through the absolute power of branding. We're going to look at exactly how you can take all your hard work, your amazing produce, and your unique heritage, and actually turn all of that into an identity. An identity that doesn't just attract incredibly loyal customers, but actually commands the premium prices you truly deserve. I want you to start by just taking a second to think about your own buying habits. Think about the brands you inherently trust. When you reach for a specific brand of coffee or rice or spices at the store, you aren't just buying a product, are you? No, you're buying a promise. You're buying a promise of consistent quality, of an authentic origin, and a believable story that you genuinely want to be a part of. Now, building that level of trust, yeah, it takes time. But once you have it, it commands a kind of loyalty that generic commodity products literally can never achieve. So just imagine your own farm having that exact same relationship with consumers in major cities or even overseas. Imagine them seeking you out specifically. Okay, let's dive right into this. There is a really stark contrast here that pretty much dictates the survival of modern farms. See, when you sell anonymous commodities, you are forced to compete on price, and price alone. And let's be totally honest, price competition is a destructive race to the bottom that can just devastate a farmer's livelihood. But look at the other side, trusted brands. Brands compete on value. This value competition rewards your quality, your authenticity, and your customer relationships in a completely sustainable way. It's what actually grows your farm business over time. So, to get you out of that commodity trap, here's our roadmap for today. We're going to cover the power of farm brands, discovering your unique story, defining your audience and identity, building out your digital ecosystem, and leveraging direct marketing. We're taking this all the way from abstract concepts to tangible real-world execution. All right, part one, the power of farm brands. Look, a brand is so much more than just a slick logo or some catchy name you came up with. Your farm brand is the total impression you leave in the minds of your customers. It's the feelings, the expectations, and most importantly, the trust that instantly comes to mind when they hear your farm's name. It clearly communicates what you stand for and exactly why they should choose you. And honestly, here's the best part. This isn't some fantasy reserved just for massive corporate agribusinesses. Not at all. Small family farms can leverage branding just as effectively by focusing on quality and deep relationships rather than sheer volume. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why this matters financially. Let's take the exact same kilogram of raw tomatoes. If you sell them as an anonymous commodity at the mandi, you might fetch, 15 to 20 rupees. But take those exact same tomatoes, attach your trusted farm brand to them, and sell directly to consumers, you could easily fetch 40 to 60 rupees. Process them into a branded tomato puree or sauce, and suddenly you're looking at 100 to 150 rupees per kilogram. Guys, the raw produce is identical. That massive leap in revenue comes entirely from the story and the trust that you've attached to it. Moving right along to part two, discover your unique story. Listen, your story is absolutely your superpower, primarily because it is completely uncopyable. It's built on your family history, right? Like, how many generations have farmed this land? It's your philosophy. Are you deeply committed to organic practices or preserving heritage varieties? Then there's your location and its terroir. Just for example, a 3-generation family farm in Korg growing coffee has a literal microclimate, soil, and history that creates a flavor profile, a terroir, that some newly established corporate plantation just cannot replicate no matter how hard they try. And finally, there's your personality. In the age of social media, people actually want to see the face of the farmer who's feeding them. Which brings us to part three, target audience and identity. Now, what's really interesting here is how we can map very specific customer groups to the exact values they're actually willing to pay a premium for. So, health-conscious urbanites, they will absolutely pay more for food safety and transparency. Food enthusiasts and chefs, they're always hunting for those exceptional, high-quality local ingredients to build their menus around. The diaspora, let's say folks who move to Bangalore but really miss their rural roots, they'll gladly pay a premium for authentic regional produce. And the export market is always seeking premium, authentic Indian goods like spices and heritage rice. You see, you don't need to appeal to everyone. You just need to target the group that shares your values. So once you know exactly who you're talking to, you've got to have a visual identity to match. This means a simple, memorable logo. Think earthy greens for vegetables, or maybe maritime colors for coastal spices. But remember this, because it's huge. Clean packaging is your critical first physical touchpoint. When a consumer receives your delivery box, that packaging needs to scream professionalism to justify your premium price. Add to that some really authentic smartphone photography of your daily farm life, and boom, you bring your brand's visual identity to life instantly. All right, part 4, the digital ecosystem. Okay, here's your quick-fire digital toolkits, kind of like an interconnected web. You use Instagram as your visual storytelling engine. Just post photos of your crops and farm life a few times a week. Meanwhile, YouTube lets you show off your deep expertise through farm tours or harvest videos. Then, and this is key, you funnel all that attention straight to WhatsApp, which is easily India's most powerful direct marketing tool. Setting up a broadcast list for seasonal specials and taking direct orders through chat requires basically zero tech investment, but it drives massive sales. Finally, a simple one-page website acts as your professional brand home, and Google My Business ensures that when locals are searching for fresh produce, your farm actually shows up right there on the map. And finally, part 5, direct marketing and community. To actually capture that full premium your brand commands, you've got to use direct channels. Bypassing the middleman is the whole point here. Urban farmer markets give you crucial face-to-face time to tell your story in person. Community-supported agriculture, or CSA subscriptions, they provide you with highly predictable advance paid income while your members get their weekly produce boxes. Farm gate sales and visits, those forge unbreakable emotional connections because customers actually get to stand there and see exactly where their food grows. And finally, institutional sales to premium restaurants provide that stable, high-volume demand you need to scale. When you combine a truly great story with direct marketing, honestly, something magical happens. The true value of your brand becomes this self-reinforcing community of deeply loyal customers. We're talking about people who buy repeatedly, who actually spend more over time, and who enthusiastically recommend you to all their friends. But I won't lie to you, maintaining this loyalty is a full-time job. It requires incredibly strict quality control on every single delivery, continuous storytelling between their purchases, and actively listening and adapting to whatever customer feedback you get. So the absolutely crucial point here is that you have to track your progress to make sure your efforts are actually working. I mean, are you measuring your customer repeat purchase rates? What about your social media engagement? But most importantly, you really need to look at your channel revenue mix. Is all this hard work genuinely shifting your sales away from the low-margin Mandi and toward your high-margin direct channels? Tracking these specific metrics is what ensures your long-term investment in your brand is actually paying off. So right now, I want to issue you a direct, empowering challenge. Yes, building a farm brand takes time, but it always starts with a single step. Today, I want you to sit down and write out your unique farm story in exactly 200 words. Who are you? How long has your family farmed? What makes your specific approach so special? Those 200 words, they are literally going to become the seed from which your entire future brand will grow. I'll leave you with this one provocative question to guide that writing. Why should a consumer choose your produce over everything else available to them? Seriously, what are you going to do differently on your farm starting today based on what we've just covered? Let me know down in the comments. And you know what? This explainer actually wraps up our entire intermediate series. We've journeyed all the way from soil fundamentals to building a thriving, profitable farm brand. You guys now have a rock-solid foundation. So make sure you hit subscribe because next up, we are launching straight into our advanced series, covering the absolute most sophisticated topics in modern agriculture. You are not going to want to miss it. See you in the advanced series.